Like and subscribe, please.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of Real Housewives of Potomac. Another great episode. This season is off to a really great start. So, I'm gonna do character by character instead of going in chronological order. Let me know if you guys like that better, or is it better in chronological order? Because I don't know, so much things happens in the episodes, it's really hard to review. You know, I watch a lot of reviews on YouTube and it looks so easy until you try to do it and it's like, oh my god, I'm overwhelmed. How do I do this? So, let's try. Let's start off with Mia. So the other ladies, first of all, let me say this. I said this before. I like Mia. I think she's a good addition to the show. She's not afraid of the other women. She's able to speak her mind. She's not kissing anybody's ass. Plus, on top of that, she seems like she has a really interesting personal story that a lot of people can relate to. And she does remind me of Ashley in the sense that Ashley lies, don't get me wrong. I think Ashley lies when it's regarding Michael. She does put up a front. But I think when it comes to other areas in her life, she is pretty honest. And even though Ashley is really annoying, I do like that about Ashley. And I feel like Mia is going to be the same way, where we're going to get her life and what's going on. Whereas the other ladies, you can kind of tell they don't want to show too much. They have a wall up. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. You don't need all the ladies to have a personal story, but you do need one or two that have something going on in their personal life, because it can get a bit dry if it's just all based on drama within the group. So I like how moments like this, when she's talking about her upbringing, sort of breaks things up a little bit. But all the ladies, I've noticed, I don't know, they're really judgmental about Mia. I guess because it's pretty clear she does have that look where you can tell that she has had a lot of plastic surgery. On top of that, she's open about her plastic surgery, particularly getting her clit done. If it was me, okay, I do admire her honesty about it, but if it was me, I wouldn't share that. I wouldn't. Everything else, sure, right? But even to get, besides your boobs, if you get your butt done and a facelift and this and that, it's getting more acceptable in society, but I feel like it's still pretty taboo. So you're gonna get a lot of judgment there. But when you start talking about getting your clit done, it's almost like low-key you're asking to get dragged, right? I do admire her honesty on that, because I don't think any of the ladies are gonna see it. So you didn't have to say something. I feel like she just opened herself up to attack, especially when you don't know the other ladies that well. If you knew them a bit better and it's something that just came up, then that would be one thing. But you don't know these ladies. And these ladies, I feel like Potomac is these ladies are the most judgmental out of all the other housewives. Am I wrong? I don't know. I just feel like they are judgmental and snobby a little bit. So I wouldn't say that, but listen, it makes her memorable, right? Mia's Mia. So Ashley, of course, goes back to Giselle and tells Giselle that Mia said that she was just another pretty face, or she was wondering if Giselle is just a pretty face, and that's it. Basically, that she has no character, she's not a good person. And it's like, dude, if you watch the show, you know what you're getting with Giselle. I did find it a kind of weird that when Karen and Giselle were going back and forth, that Mia inserted herself into the situation by saying that Giselle seems like she has a good heart. I mean, you don't know this person. You met them for 2.5 seconds. You cannot, you can say, well, I have a good vibe from this person. I seem to like this person. from what I know. But to say that they have a good heart, that's a big statement. And hello, did you watch the show before? Really, Giselle? I'm pretty sure she's okay in person, right? But to say someone has a big heart, that's a really big statement. So she kind of set herself up for that moment when she then kind of flopped. She did flip flop because Karen was saying, "Oh, that Giselle wished death upon her husband," which Giselle did not do that at all. Karen is reaching. You know, Ray was the one that low key insulted Giselle first, right? So Giselle was just having a witty comeback. That's not wishing death on somebody. Plus, that is 4 years ago. If you had such an issue with that, why didn't you bring it up then? So that whole thing doesn't make sense, anyways, right? So I think Mia kind of just. I feel like Mia came into the situation with an open mind, right? Because we know how this goes, right? I don't know if Mia really knew Karen like that. At the very most, they were probably acquaintances. Maybe they ran into each other here and there, but I highly doubt that her and Karen are friends like that. But of course, the ladies can't say, "Hey guys, meet Mia. The producers hired her." No, they have to come up with some, excuse or some reasoning. "Oh, this is my friend," or whatever. And we all know it's nonsense. So, of course, you're not going to just be loyal to Karen. That doesn't make any sense. You're going to try and build relationships with everybody. You're not going to take on other people's beefs, especially people's beefs that you don't know very well, because you are setting yourself up. Because if you want to come back and get another season, you can't just be talking to one person, because at that point Karen was sort of, she was speaking to Ashley, but at that point a lot of people were not feeling Karen within the group. She was sort of ostracized. You know what I'm trying to say, right? So strategically, it doesn't make sense to put yourself in that position if you're looking out for yourself. And of course, we know Karen is looking out for herself. So I don't blame her for that. But because she said one thing and then said another thing later on, I feel like she's putting herself in that position when she could have just not said anything. But I think she'll be fine. Mia talking about the relationship with her parents, specifically with her mother, I think it's a very relatable story. Basically, her mother had issues with drugs, wasn't able to take care of her, and Mia got put into foster care. And Mia spoke about how she would try to reach out to her mother when she was a kid. She would write letters. She recalls one time it was New Year's Eve and she was waiting for her mother to come, and her mother never showed up, and she was 6 years old. And now as an adult, she is trying to build a relationship with her mother. But of course, she still has all that hurt. And it seems like her mother doesn't want to acknowledge and deal with how she hurt her daughter, because I can imagine she probably has a lot of shame surrounding it. And she may not want to go back to that place and really face it. But I think in order for Mia to move forward with her mother does need to acknowledge that the hurt that she caused her. I kind of been in a similar situation, not exactly the same, but I can tell you it is difficult when you've been estranged from family, right? Or you never really even grew up with them, and you reconnect with them as an adult. It's awkward because on one side, yes, you are family, and people put a lot of expectations on what a family is supposed to be and the type of relationship you're supposed to have with your parents. But if you didn't grow up that way, you haven't really built that relationship, it's hard to kind of meet those expectations, because at the end of the day, they are strangers. And not only strangers, they have also caused you a lot of hurt and a lot of pain. And it's just an awkward sort of place, because people are like, honor thy mother and father. And people don't really sort of acknowledge the fact that you have to give children respect as well. You have to respect your children. You have to honor your children. It is a blessing to have a child. So that it goes both ways. It does. And when you're trying to reconnect and build that relationship as an adult, you're not a child anymore. It's an adult to adult relationship. So it can just be really, really, it's really, really awkward. So we're going to see how that plays out. And I hope I hope it works out. But I mean, we have plenty of examples of it not working out, right? Because the parents don't want to take ownership or take accountability for the mistakes that they made. They kind of want to sweep it under the rug and they want everybody to pretend that nothing happened. So that scene with Robyn in the bed, I don't know about you guys, but did that scene seem a little bit fake? It just seems kind of weird to me that you would be sleeping in bed with a bunch of cameras and production around. Does that make any sense? So I feel like I'm not going to take this scene that seriously. Maybe it's supposed to be a reenactment of what happens. But I can say this. I just find it a little bit weird that Juan is up and has his clothes on and he's dressed and ready to go. And he keeps coming in the room telling Robyn to wake the kids up. Why can't he wake the kids up? I mean, he's already up, right? That doesn't make sense. You're waking Robyn up to go wake the kids up. Why don't you wake them up? You're already up. Wake them up. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand that. And we already know that from Robyn's mouth when they were first married, that he wasn't really hands-on with the kids. So is this how kind of Juan moves? He expects Robyn to handle everything when it comes to the household and the children. On top of that, she's supposed to run her business as well. I don't know. I don't know about Juan. I really don't. I think Robyn can do better. And then he wants another child on top of that. So it's like she's expected to do all these things. And what is he doing? What is he doing? Really? This was just a really weird scene. Clearly, if this is real, I don't know if this is real, but if this is real, it's pretty clear that Robyn is going through something. And if you notice your partner is lethargic, they're having trouble getting out of bed, the last thing you need to do is lecture them and put them down. If they're really going through something, if they're worn out, maybe give them a break. Say, honey, you've been doing a lot with the kids. Take a week off. Just relax. Don't worry about anything. Maybe go somewhere. Maybe not a week, but 4 days. Go somewhere, decompress, and then come back, right? Or maybe you should seek therapy. Maybe you need to talk to somebody. Maybe you need to Like, find solutions to the problem. Help your partner figure it out. But you insulting them and yelling at them, that's not going to do anything. If anything, it's making the situation worse. So Candice, oh my gosh. Candice speaks with her mother. And she tells her mother that Chris is her manager. And of course, her mom is warning her about that there could be issues when your partner is relying on you as the sole person bringing in income, right? Because as a manager, they eat off of the clients their client making money, right? So essentially, Chris gets money when Candice gets money, right? When Candice books a job, Chris gets a percentage of what she makes, right? That's how a manager is supposed to work. And it's not like he's managing multiple people where he's getting, multiple streams of income. He's relying solely on Candice. That's kind of messed up. I'm sorry. We've seen throughout history that that doesn't really work out. Okay, Mary J. Blige, Tina Turner, there's more. Oh, Monique, the comedian, not Monique, the housewife. The list goes on and on. Oh, I remember Amara La Negra. That was her storyline on Love and Hip Hop, where her boyfriend wanted to manage her. Oh my god. Well, actually, I don't think he ended up managing her, but he wanted to. It just, I'm not gonna say it never works, right? I think there are maybe occasions where it does work, but I think it's especially not going to work if that's if that's the partner's sole income, right? Like if Chris's sole income is managing Candice, I don't think that's gonna work. If he has multiple people that he manages, then fine, I can maybe see how that works. But that just doesn't, I don't think that's great for Chris, right? I don't think that's great for his self-esteem if everything he does is focused around Candice. That must be annoying. Like if everything you do is focused on what your partner has going on at all times. I can't imagine that being healthy for the relationship. And it's not healthy for Candice, right? Because if they do have issues business wise, right, management wise, that's gonna carry over into their relationship. Like that just doesn't make sense. And for Candice to get so defensive when her mom was trying to talk to her is a little bit ridiculous to me, because Candice seems like a smart woman, right? She's getting her master's. You can't sit there and act like what your mother's saying is crazy or ridiculous. Like if I had a child and they're telling me that, of course I wouldn't, I would try to put it as delicately as I could, but at the end of the day, I'm going to say how I feel, right? To protect my child. Like I'm going to tell you, are you sure? This may not be a great idea. And at the end of the day, if my child's like, this is what I want to do, I think it works for us, we're a team, blah, 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 then of course I would have to respect that. And, my child's just going to have to learn for themselves. But I don't know, for Candice to kind of act like her mother is being so terrible for saying something in this situation is kind of ridiculous to me. Of course your mother's gonna say something. Of course. Hello, she's not saying anything crazy here. She's saying what everybody's saying, what the whole audience, like no one in the audience is like, yeah, I think Chris being Candice's manager is a great idea. Absolutely nobody is saying that. And then, I did read some comments and people are saying that it is kind of messed up that, let's be real, Candice's money and maybe some of the money from her mother, but that's her mother, that's completely okay if her mother wants to help her out financially. But all the money, especially to buy that house and everything, is coming from Candice. And not only that, Chris is there, his kids are there, and they're kind of eating off Candice. And I guess everybody has different dynamics in their relationship. I'm not that type of person that says, a man has to do this or a woman has to do this, or, the lines have to be so strict. Everybody has their own dynamic. but I'm sorry, it is a little bit problematic. And I think Candice needs to be a little bit more mindful of that. I do understand it is the pandemic, so that is definitely screwing a lot of people over. But I think Chris needs to find something for himself, right? Just with like Wendy is, selling candles, right? She's taking advantage of the platform she's on. Chris can do the same. You can, I don't know, you can start a candle line of your own or any stupid little thing, right? You can start a water bottle line. I don't know. You can start a pillow line, just any random thing. And listen, you have a platform to advertise it. Now, Bravo may take a percentage, but you have the platform. So maybe make the most of it, because relying on Candice is not, I don't think that's a great idea, especially when it comes to the entertainment business, right? Because it's very, very fickle. It isn't stable. She can be on Housewives today, but she can be gone tomorrow. And we all know that a lot of her opportunities probably comes from being on the Housewives. So what if she's not a housewife anymore? Then what? Then not only is she's not screwed, but not only is she in a difficult situation, but now you're in a difficult situation because you've been completely relying on her. And I just think that's a setup. That's just a setup for issues in your relationship. And I don't think Candice's mom can be a bit much, don't get me wrong, but in this situation, I don't think she was wrong. And she didn't nag her about it. She said what she had to say. She saw that Candice was getting upset, and she says, you know what? It's your life. You can do what you want. And at the end of the day, that's all you can do. If someone doesn't want to listen, someone doesn't want to listen. They're going to have to find out on their own. And who knows? Maybe we're all wrong. Everybody in the audience, Candice's mama, everybody is just wrong, and we don't know. We don't know shit. We'll see. I find it a little bit odd that all of a sudden Karen is feeling Wendy because Wendy is coming to her needing mentorship, right? Because Wendy's starting a business. Karen is a businesswoman, allegedly. Who knows what's going on with Karen, because Karen is a liar. Karen is fake, and she's phony. But Karen's also funny, and she's good for the show, right? But she's fake and phony. We all know that. So I don't know what's going on with her. So Karen is a businesswoman. Let's just say that, okay? And now that Wendy needs her help, all of a sudden, she's feeling Wendy. And I don't know. With Karen, I kind of feel like she needs to feel superior. She has to be the grand dame, doom, dumb, whatever it is, to get along with people. She has to have that superior feeling. And when Wendy was coming in hot with the 4 degrees, right, then Karen couldn't relate to her. Karen had a hard time connecting with her. And it's also kind of weird with the relationship between her and Candice, because Candice made the mistake of seeing Karen as her mother or as a mother figure and not as a coworker, right? And that relationship was able to work. But soon as that sort of dynamic shifted, then there was issues in the relationship. So I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like Karen is very insecure. And, that which is not unique, right? But I think Karen is insecure, and in order to have relationships with people, she needs to feel superior than them, right? And if she feels like you're better than her in any way from her perception, I think that's when she kind of tries to cut you down, to kind of even the playing field or feel superior. I think Giselle is like that as well, and that it makes sense why they're on opposite ends and they're kind of like mortal enemies, because they're they're not similar, but I do feel like they do have that need to feel superior. Now, when it comes to Candice and Karen's relationship, Candice was hurt because she felt like Karen was playing neutral, right? In my opinion, I don't feel like Karen was that neutral. If I'm going to be completely honest, I feel like Karen was maybe slightly more on Monique's side, right? And sometimes I get it, right? Because I definitely been not in the same predicament, but I've been in situations where you have two sides of people that don't get along with each other, right? And you're trying to kind of maintain a relationship with everybody. And in order to do that, you play neutral, you play the middle, but it does come to a certain point where one side or another side, they just do too much and they cross the line. And it gets to the point where you're going to have to, you may not want to, but you have to make a decision, because one side has sort of crossed the line and been so foul that for you not to say anything, even though you think you're being neutral, in a roundabout way, you're enabling that person's behavior, or it comes off like you're condoning their behavior, or you're saying their behavior is okay. And I know when it comes to the Monique and the Candice thing, wow, people are really divided on that, right? For me, I'm Team Candice in this situation, right? I'm not Team Monique. I feel like, okay, Monique attacking Candice. Monique was wrong, right? But I can understand maybe you being like, we all have bad days, we all make mistakes, right? We all lose our cool. But for me, Monique just crossed the line and she kept going and going. She continued to lie. She never took accountability for her behavior. She always had some excuse or reasoning for what she did. If Monique just said, I'm sorry, that's it, no but, no excuse, no nothing, I think she would have definitely still be on the show till this day, but she made things worse, right? And even leaking stories, untrue stories to the press and everything to get ahead of the story. She did absolutely too much. And for Karen to kind of just be mum and silent, and I definitely felt like the reason why Karen was so much on Monique's side was because she doesn't like Giselle, right? And that was an ally against Giselle. So of course she's going to team up with her, right? Because at that time, Giselle and Robyn were on Candice's side because they didn't like Monique. So nobody in that situation, I feel, really cared about Candice or Monique. They were just protecting their own interest, right? And they were just trying to comfort each other. And Monique and Candice were more like tools in that. That's how I feel at the end of the day. And I think that's what Candice saw. And maybe that's what Monique saw as well, right? Eventually. That they kind of were, I'm not saying that they were pawns or that they were used or that they're not responsible for their own actions, but I definitely think Karen and Giselle sort of used those ladies to fuel their own motives. That's how I feel about the situation. And like I said, Candice is recognizing that, and I'm glad that Candice got to the point where she was like, I don't trust Karen. Me and Karen are not going to be as close, but I'll still be able to kiki with her. And that's a great place to be in, because I think that Candice made the mistake of seeing Karen as a mother figure, when Karen is not your mother. Karen is your co-worker, and you should treat her accordingly. You shouldn't really trust any of these ladies, especially if you guys weren't friends before you got on the show. If you don't have that long history of friendship, you should definitely not be looking at anybody like you guys are best buds and you can trust them with anything, even if you were friends with them before. Because, hello, Real Housewives has been around long enough, and we know that people are willing to throw, their friends under the bus. If it can extend their 15 minutes of fame, they're going to do what they need to do. It is what it is. And I think that's just how Karen moves, right? Like, Karen, we see her, she gets caught in so many lies. She'll lie to protect herself. She'll do what she has, she will do what she has to do. That's how I feel about it. That doesn't mean you can't have fun with Karen. Karen is lots of fun. She's also very funny, right? I'm not saying Karen is a bad person, but Karen is out to protect Karen. So Wendy is, she wants to sell candles, right? And basically she wants to eventually branch out and have like a home essentials or home accessories line, right? Do we really need that? Like, how many brands of candles out there? How many bed sheets and pillows and all that stuff? But at the end of the day, I guess this is what you do, right? If you're on the show, you have that platform, you might as well make the most of it, because you never know. But I don't know, it's just weird to me that she went this route. But I guess this is what she wants to do. It's her money, so go ahead and do it, right? She has the platform, she has a place where she can advertise her crap, so why not? Is it necessary? No, it's not. I wish she could have maybe thought of something a little bit more inventive, something that has not been done before, like a candle. I don't know, because at least with Robyn and Embellished, having hats with a satin lining, like, I hope she makes like a toque, with a satin lining, or beanies with a satin lining besides just the baseball caps, because that would be amazing, right? I feel like that, has it been done before? Yeah, probably, but at least the market isn't flooded with it, right? We already have so many candles. So I think with Robyn, at least she has something unique. With Wendy, okay, moving on. So Wendy is kind of saying like she's this Zen Wen, because last season she was a little high strung, right? She kind of came off a bit much. So she's trying to calm down a little bit. I think that she read a lot of the criticisms and the backlash that she got from last season. So she's trying to adjust. But she's really not that zen. She's a little bit more zen than if we're comparing her from last season. But she's definitely not Zen Wen. She has an issue with Mia. I don't really get it. Some people say she's jealous. I don't really think she's jealous, right? Mia's gorgeous. I also think Wendy's gorgeous. Mia has her businesses. Wendy has her 4 degrees and she's going into business, right? So I don't really see any reason for there to be any jealousy. But at the end of the day, you don't know, like, Wendy is married with kids. Not to say that if you're married with kids that you're superior, but that's a thing that maybe some people may feel insecure about. So I just don't see where the jealousy would come in. My opinion on it is that, let's be real, let's break the fourth wall. Wendy wants to stay on the show, right? Especially if she's starting her candle line, right? She wants to stay on the show. She wants to be asked back next season. So I feel like in order to hold that position, you have to stir up drama, right? And I just feel like Mia's an easy target. She's new. Let's just come for her. I think that's just what it is. So she's sort of nitpicking and finding things and issues with Mia that she doesn't really need to find, or is not really like. I understand maybe you making a comment, right? Because Ashley made a comment about Mia and her sort of flip flopping, but she's not having beef with Mia over it. Wendy is deciding to beef with Mia just because she wants to have a moment. Because she's not going to beef with Giselle unless Giselle does something to her, which we all know that later on in the season that Giselle does, right? By spreading the cheating rumors about Eddie. So, but without cause, she's not going to come for Giselle because Giselle's the queen bee. And if you come for Giselle, you're going to come for Robyn and vice versa. She's not going to come for Ashley because Ashley is pregnant. She's not going to come for Candice because Candice is her best bud. And as for Karen, she's already had her issues with Karen. So that's been done. Plus, on top of that, I feel like Karen is a fan favorite, right? So I think Wendy is being a little strategic and she's not going to come for Karen. Because I've noticed that she's just switched up on Karen like that, right? She had real issues not to mess with Karen because Karen allegedly didn't even want her on the show. So it makes sense that she would continue that sort of beef with Karen. But this season, she's defending Karen and calling out Mia and saying, you don't have loyalty for Karen and da 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 da. And I think part of that, like I said, is because Karen is a fan favorite. So who else are you going to come for? Mia. Mia is the easy choice. So that's what I think it is, because it just doesn't make sense. And I feel like Wendy's being a complete hypocrite when it comes to Mia, because she was last episode and even this episode when they're at the spa at the party for Ashley honoring her pregnancy, she was talking about Mia having her hands in her face, right? And speaking with her hands. But Wendy is the exact same thing. Wendy had her hands in Mia's face, and Wendy also speaks with her hands. So she's also being a hypocrite. And she's also being a hypocrite because she wants to call Mia out for defending Giselle when Karen brought her into the group. Well, what about you defending Karen when Candice brought you into the group and Candice doesn't F with Karen like that? So you're being a hypocrite because Candice brought you into the group, but you're not having her back, are you? Right? Giselle was the one that let you know, even though I feel like Giselle is messy and she was just stirring shit. Giselle let you know that Karen is talking all sorts of crap, but you're defending Karen against Giselle. And then when Giselle was speaking to her at the spa, telling her to kind of calm down, like, what's the issue? She was like, well, I was in her confessional. She's trying to say that she's trying to defend Giselle against Mia, when actually it's quite the opposite. You're trying to discourage Mia from having a relationship with Giselle because you feel like it's not she's not being loyal to Karen. And it's absolutely ridiculous, right? Because we all know, like I said before, I doubt all these people are really friends, right? I doubt Candice brought Wendy into the group. I doubt that Wendy and Candice were really friends like that. They were probably acquaintances. So you know how the game is. You know that, okay, you need someone to bring you in, but you need to try and formulate relationships with everybody. So to pick on Mia for that is just absolutely ridiculous. So that's why, to me, it feels like Mia is the easy target. She's new. And Wendy wants to secure her spot for next season. That's just what it is to me. And guess what? She's doing a damn good job. Last but not least, well, maybe least because she's new and we only got 2.5 seconds of her. She's absolutely gorgeous. I don't really know about her. I don't really know if she's gonna fit in and or if she's gonna be good for the show because we really didn't get too much of her. So I'll see. But she did come near the end. She did do her job when she told Karen that Robyn said she was a drunk, pretty much. Right? And hello, Wendy, how come you didn't say anything? You called out Mia for not being loyal. How come you didn't call out Ascale? Because Robyn was the one that introduced her to the group. But now she's bringing back Robyn's tea to Karen. That's not loyal. Wendy's such a hypocrite. She is. But we'll see. We'll see next episode. Maybe Wendy did say something. Who knows? At the end of the day, though, I'm not mad at Ascale because, like I said with Mia, I really doubt that Ascale was friends with Robyn like that. If not at all. I really doubt that. So at the end of the day, she's just doing her job. She's stirring up drama. It is what it is, right? Robyn said it on camera, so if you say it on camera, well, you might as well say it to the person.